Yo, what's going on? It's your counselor, Polly Rob. Welcome to another episode of my Polly Rob podcast. I appreciate everybody showing love. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notifications for all my content, and be a member. If you're not a member already, be a member. Let's get right into it. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I would say more like a month or so ago, Max B was released from jail, over a 15-year, stint, you know what I mean? And out of all of the celebration, out of all of the antics and having fun and being released and people welcoming him home, all the good stuff, the one thing that all the fans were waiting for was the music. The one thing all the fans were waiting for was the music. Get to the music. Now, we didn't know how long, but it looked like the way he was having fun and feeling so free, it felt like we would get it pretty fast. And we did. French Montana, his right-hand man, his close buddy, was definitely going to aid in Max B releasing music soon. We didn't know how soon, but it looks like it's probably too soon, if you know what I mean. They released a record, Let America Be Wavy Again, with Max B and French Montana. That record was okay. It wasn't the best record, but it was okay. Good way to start off the whole run. Then all of a sudden, without really any promotion, let's be honest, no real promotion, Max B decides to drop what I'm calling a mixtape. I don't know if it's definitely a full-length project, but I'm calling it a mixtape, and I'll explain why. He dropped Public Domain 7, you know what I'm saying? And it's out on all digital platforms, you know what I mean? This is one of the first times that we get a chance to indulge in Max B as he stands right now, as his musical creativity stands right now. And I gotta be honest. First off, let me say this. I'm a Max B fan. I'm not a day one Max B fan, but I am a Max B fan. I caught the end of it just before he went to jail. But, his records is dope. The element of how he uses his voice, little bit of singing, little bit of rapping, all flavor, all swag, that's his thing. I can almost say that in the New York sound and kind of traveling, he's one of the originators, if not the originator, one of the prime artists that took that sound to new levels, for sure. I could say that. But in my opinion, since he's been out, there's a couple of things that we have to take into consideration before I get to this project and why I feel like I'll explain to you how I feel. But let me get to this part first. I think people don't understand how much the game has evolved, the hip hop industry has evolved in this particular sound and this particular flavor. You got to remember, before Max B, of course, we had the 50 Cents, we had the Ja Rules. All due respect, they did their thing. It was a little bit of rapping, a little bit of singing. We've seen it before. We've seen hit records come from that element before. What Max B did was take it just a little bit further because, with Ja Rule, when he sings, he sometimes has an R&B artist sing under him or add ad-libs, the added texture. When 50 Cent was doing singing, it was simple hooks. He's not trying to go too crazy. And it was really basic sing-songy hooks, but it worked. And he had a nice deep voice, so it worked. Max B was more so, he has a very raspy voice. So when he used his raspy voice and he sings these melodies and these hooks, it worked. It was great. On top of aggressive gutter beats, it was a whole different element. He brought a whole different swing to it, right? So in his highlight before he went to jail, we thought we was going to get some whole new music and flavor from Max B that was going to be well deserved, well warranted, well respected, and he was supposed to usher in what we have seen for probably the past 10 to 15 years. Since when Max B was in jail, this is what we got. And let me get to, his particular style. This is what we got since Max B going to prison in terms of the style that he adopts and he uses. A little bit of singing on the hooks, the rapping, swag, those type of elements. These are the artists that we got. Future, Young Thug, Drake, who else? Lil Uzi Vert. Who else do we have? Leave it in the comments if I'm not naming all the people. Leave it in the comments about these stars that we get that they use the element of the sing song, little bit of auto tune, little bit of rapping. It's a balance. We get a lot of that right now. That style has evolved. It's evolved a lot. And I think this was a misstep, and I'll explain why, in this new public domain with Max B. There are some highlights on this project, but I want to point out that the sing-song flow has evolved tremendously since he's been in jail. And I don't think anybody reminded him of that. Even French Montana himself has adapted his style to be able to have catchy singing hooks that don't feel like singing, but it is, but it's very catchy. He's adopted that. Even the way he engineers his voice, very, very unique settings. Very pleasurable to the ear. It's a little bit of raw and a little bit of processed vocal that's blended together to make it fit the song. Future, same thing. Little bit of robotic feeling, little bit of realism. Ultimate cadences. You know how many cadences we've adapted? The Migos, even Lil Wayne. We've adapted so many and enjoyed so many different flavors and cadences since Max B has been in jail. Our ear is trained, at least as a consumer, first from the consumers, to recognize when the cadence and the flow and the auto-tune and the blend is matching and is coming together. The ear has been trained. As an engineer, as a producer, we have a super trained ear. So we know when something's off in an instant. We know when something don't feel right. We know when something is not warm. We know when it needs a little bit more auto-tune to mesh together with the type of production that's there. We know when, the vocals are too dry, so it's not going to translate into anything that sounds pleasurable. We know that. We can hear it off the top. Off the first two singing lines that I heard on Max B's project, I was like, oh, this is not right. This is not right. And I'll get into that in a second. Last thing before we get into that part. We've also, in the hip hop world, in the boom bap world, in the gutter world, we've also got artists that are true hip hop artists, but they also add an element of the singing, the sing-song element to their style. West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, Rock Marciano, Stove God Cooks. These are artists that elite lyricism, and then, They'll come with a little sing-song type of element. You know what I mean? Sold a half a brick in the parking lot. Hallelujah. Sold a half a key in the parking lot. Hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? That's Stove God. Something simple. He got a raspy voice as well, but he know how to fit it right in the pocket. It's evolving. West Side Gun. Boo, 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 boo. You know how that go. He might come in out of nowhere and I need a brick right now. Come on. It's evolved. These artists know how to use that style to its best level. It's different. Now, let me get into the public domain project. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit excited because I'm like, oh, he dropping music early, off top. Did I think it was going to be elite? Am I trying to grade it on a scale of all of his previous projects? Absolutely not. But I do want to hear some dope lines and I do want to hear some dope hooks. I'm sorry. I've been spoiled by some of the artists in hip hop that I've mentioned and more. When they do they 1-2 step with those sing-song hooks and stuff like that. I've been spoiled. I'm sorry. It's real. So, first thing I caught when I listened to Public Domain, whoever the engineer is, change engineers immediately. The vocals were very, very dry. And listen, I gotta be honest because I believe that Max B is going to create some great music soon come, for sure. But this one right here is not it. Max B vocals are dry. The ins and outs and the ad-libs are not matching up. They're overlapping over each other. I'm just getting into my engineer brain real quick. Let me do that. Feel like it's too much compression on it. The vocals are sitting very high above the beat, so it's hard to kind of turn it up and bump it because the vocals are so loud and they're so dry, it just feels overbearing. The hooks don't sound in unison at all. Too much lows. It don't sound right. I'm talking about I went through the whole project and I did not find out one hook that sounded right on the engineering level and on just a pleasurable creative level. They picked some good production. They actually did a couple of different flips. You know, with certain records, they used a Drake record, like just straight how it was. They flipped a couple of other records, old school joints, which I liked about that. You know, the lyrics was Max B lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's not the greatest, but it's flavor, it's style. So I appreciate that. But overall, it wasn't a good listen. And it's a long listen. It's a very long listen, and it's not pleasurable enough. I got to be honest. He got some features on there. He got A$AP Rocky on there. He got French Montana, a couple other features. But it's like damn near 20 records, and they're not pleasurable. Now, I know in today's game, all you need is one. All you need is one record to get you going. And I think they put so many songs on this project to kind of, you know, get Max B back in the algorithm of these, you know, Spotify's and Apple Music. I think that's why they did it. But at the same time, it's just not pleasurable music. I got to be honest. I'm waiting for another project because this is not pleasurable music. And I don't understand how French Montana's vocals came out great, but Max B's vocals didn't come out great. So that clearly lets me know that French sent his verse in with his engineer, but whoever's engineering Max B's project, you need to fix something or you need to get another engineer. Just got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And as an engineer myself and a producer myself, I just got to be honest. If I'm not doing the job I'm supposed to be doing, get rid of me too. That goes for all engineers. If you're not doing the job of making this project cohesive and making it sound cohesive, somebody else needs to do that. It's just real. Sometimes, a lot of engineers, most good engineers have good times, and they really do what they do. They're elite with their projects. Sometimes they might miss the ball depending on what the artist want or what the label wants and things like that. I get it. But for the most part, if you're a good engineer, you'll be able to nail that, especially if you're making this project in a mixtape form. So I do kind of understand why you want to sit the vocals high, but they're not pleasurable. In mixtapes, when you're making mixtapes, like back in the days when you used to make a lot of mixtapes, you would purposely put the vocals a little bit higher because you want people to hear the lyrics. This is where elite lyricism, this is where diss records came. This is where, leak records from albums where it wasn't mixed too well, but it still had a value of quality and you could hear the lyrics. That's where, those type of elements of how you engineer. But if it's not pleasurable, it does not matter. It don't go. It don't fly. I think Max B was trying his best to do what he does. But once again, in today's time, these particular styles are executed by the engineer more than anything. Even if the artist didn't execute the vocals right, the engineer can bring all of that stuff together and make what is supposed to be made or be displayed for that record. Engineers are great at doing that these days. It just so happens that Max B did not choose somebody that can pull that off. I'm just got to be honest. I'm not into giving grades because this is not what it's for. It's about me talking about this project. If you want to call it a hit or a miss, it's totally up to you. What I'm saying is, out of all of the hoopla of him getting out of jail at this point, celebrating and then dropping music, and the music is lackluster, I think that Max B, when it's time, get back to the drawing board and really, you got to go back to tightening up your craft. Whoever's working with you, I need them to step it up. Whoever's working with you, I need them to step it up and let you know if something is dope or not. Or say, hey, this is off. Let's do it again. I don't need you. I don't know if you record yourself, but I don't need you recording yourself. You need somebody to record you. We don't need no yes men around Max B. We need people who going to elevate him to where he need to be, because we need to hear that fire. We need to hear that fire. Last thing I'll say before I get out of here. It's very, very highly anticipated when an artist gets out of jail. Their music is highly anticipated. But I will give a little bit of grace, because sometimes the first record or the first project is not necessarily to be the best type of music. Sometimes it's just being used to just, like I said, sometimes, I think this Max B project, I think they put it out soon just to get him rolling in the algorithm. I wish they would have had better songs, but hey, I think this is a business play to get him rolling. So when they drop the official project, which I hear is supposed to be a Max B and French Montana collab project, which will be fire. I think that's the true, real installment. But in the meantime, whatever videos you want to do, pick some of the best records, do some videos, and I just need to see more. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think in the comments about Public Domain 7. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about Max B's new project. And let me know if you have a favorite song. You know what I mean? If you got a favorite song, maybe I'll listen to it again and see if I'm not catching something. I want to listen to the project one or two more times to see if I can find a favorite record, because I would love to put a record or two a part of my playlist. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Workload.